Just got the tickets.
Talk about three things. Two for the guard and one for me. That one for me is the most important. If you're going to be taking a picture from up there this way and I'm going to be in it, I need a heads up so I can sit up and suck it in. Give you my best pose because y'all been making me look bad on Facebook lately. Of course, I probably deserve it, but anyway. Now, for the Coast Guard, we talk about two things. One is medical attention. If that necessity arises, for flotation devices. Now, in 140 years of these stores, we've never needed them before. And I don't see a need for them today, but there's always... Oh, well, actually, 23 degrees Celsius if you're from across the pond. Now, this spring I'm coming to down here is called the Spring of Stars. They got that name because dignitaries and people who are full of themselves will come to this spring, sit here for a couple of minutes, and go back to the dock. Y'all aren't going back that fast. You see them piranha wannabe down there? Those are bluegill or brim. One of the other captains feeds them. In fact, I told you, Oscar, he feeds them fish. He's been doing it for over 50 years. They get a dependency on us, so every time you see a green hull, they come looking for food. The bad thing about that is, they'll get around my propeller and you'll see a fillet of fish go across my line. Their dependency is becoming quite a problem for me. Not really sure how to cure that.
Oh,
If I
what's
could,
this
I
stuff?
wouldn't have a 30-year-old still living at home. Worked for 41 years doing movies from 1952 to 1993. Doris Day, Glass on a Boat, Jerry Lewis, Smokey About the Ship, three of the James Bond movies, and every episode of a TV show called Lloyd Bridges Sea Hunt. 41 years, and I get him on my boat for the tour last March. Kind of like unusual. Like having to preach the gospel of John to Billy Graham. I was so far out of my league. That's a chunk of grass.
Rats in
Very
the,
deep there, huh?
Yeah.
rats in the water?
They must like them water movies.
If
The
you
water
saw
come
that
out
movie
from there?
1954,
Yeah, right there.
Creature from the Black Lagoon, you saw this cave that's beneath us now. That is Creature Spring. That rock slab is 28 feet down. It's kicking out in the neighborhood of 500,000 gallons an hour into this river.
No, that's the
That big fish you see right there is called a bowfin. Some people call it a mudfish. And if you're from Louisiana or been down there, they call it a shoepick.
Big one.
Now before this was a park, this was a lumber center. And it sits down beneath my glass right now where it's been for 153 years, running away slowly. Now it is a good segue to come over the next spring. It is called the Abyss. You can see, in other words, it's a hole in the ground. But as far as holes go, it is the largest vertical freshwater spring vent in the state of Florida, pumping out close to 400,000 gallons of water every single hour. Now, back in 2013, when the state took over the park, they had divers survey all 123 springs. The divers that came over here took their tanks off, went down into that crevasse, tank first, logging a total of 81 feet down. Now, it's not as precarious as it looks. If you went down there about 18 feet, it slopes over in the direction that I'm facing, up underneath that knoll that we went over. It opens up into a huge chamber down there, the size of 3 of these boats side by side, and the bottom is 81 feet down. Now, the chamber itself is 34, I think it was, 34 by 37, but the height is 68 feet 4 inches. That's a pretty big cavern down there. Now, those divers did come up. They became part of the volunteer dive force, comes in once a month, and they were here this morning. They'll clean the wreckage, the relics, the statues, and the glass on the bottoms of the boat. They will also pick up trash. Some of them have that green. Alongside of an alligator, wanting to get a selfie, leaned over like this, that alligator smacked the kayak once. The guy freaks out and starts smacking the alligator with his paddle. The alligator just, bam, hit that kayak again, knocked it out from underneath the guy. The guy goes in the water and starts crying like a 2-year-old boy, right? The alligator just swam on. We've had nobody bit by an alligator in Sparky. Close as it came. What's Temecula? Now, the Temecula were Native American tribes that lived here, some say as far back as 1,100 years ago, all the way through the year 1821, and we do know that year specifically, because that is the year that Spain completed the evacuation of Florida after giving or ceding it to the United States. The Temecula have been fighting the British and then Americans for what? And by that I mean a spring that puts out in excess of 100 cubic feet of water per second. 100 cubic feet of water per second translates to 743 U.S. gallons of water every second, or more rather. That is 64.1 million gallons or more every day come out of that spring. Now we have spring magnitude 1 springs in this river. This is the third largest. The second largest is further downriver. We don't have access to that on this trip. What's that?
No, you see the water where it's bubbling.
Yes, the articulation of the granules of limestone down there are unique. There's another boat bit. Those granules of snow are actually the limestone material. That's the same stuff that the aquifer is made out of. This area right here is called the Lloyd Bridges Seal Dock. If you've ever seen one of those episodes of that TV show, you've seen Silver Spring. 9 of the episodes in their entirety were filmed there. 6 of the volunteers have been around, so they show up down, but that's the first place to be for them. They call it the Creek Trail because there's a creek that goes through there. There also has an offshoot that goes over to a building that we call the Black Bear Pavilion. They call it that because they used to have black bears in it. They don't no more. And it goes over to another building called the Mansion. I'll get into that after we come out of this spring here. This particular spring here is called Cypress Springs. Now it used to was Christmas Tree Springs. Yeah, the state took it over and marked over in 2013 and changed the name. And Happy Holiday Tree Springs didn't fit very well, so they changed it to Cypress. Historically, this had more plate importance now, so I'm messing with Native Americans. And so the taste for any water was open. Yeah, well, we don't get 50 million gallons of water every single day. That is 21 million gallons of water an hour. When they did that movie, the prop they used down by Raccoon Island is still down there. So technically, don't give up the ship, did just that. 3 of the James Bond movies, Moonraker, Thunderball, and Never Say Never Again, their underwater scenes were shot right here. In fact, if you watched Moonraker, you saw him wrestle a big old python snake. That happened underneath the front of my glass right there, and I know that because those statues down there coming up underneath my glass were in that movie.
I was wondering where they were.
Well, they've been there for
I was just going to
1977.
ask you about that. I was like, I don't see the statues that are there.
Now, these statues were put in back in 1967, not for the James Bond movie, but for a TV show called I Spy with Robert Gold and Bill Cosby.
Yeah?
They got white spots on them because the divers were here today cleaning them.
Oh.
Now, we do have 5 that live in the river, but they go up and down the river as they see fit. They were seen day before yesterday down by the Marion County School dock. We had 2 of them up here last Sunday. In fact, I got a picture of them when they were up in the area. But I haven't seen them in this area. I work Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and I haven't seen them this week. That does conclude our 30-minute tour. I did take longer than 30.